Welcome, welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy, a weird thing to say, but happy beginning of Lent, if that is your celebration. And happy day after Shivaratri. So the lovely merging when the calendars conform this way, that Shivaratri was yesterday and today begins the fasting process, I believe, for those in that tradition. So my thought for you that comes up for me kind of always around this time of year or around these holidays specifically is that with Shivaratri, we are given this opportunity, right? As they say, it's the one night of the year that Shiva, as the cosmic dancer, takes a break, right? It's his wedding night. So he gets a night off. So that energy of consciousness, because this is what Shiva is, the energy of that elevated consciousness for a moment closes its eyes, right? And that in that moment, we're asked to open our eyes to be that, right? All right, come on in, that's okay. That's okay, I'll get you. So this quality, right, of understanding what it means to not just be awake, but to have an elevated consciousness, right? To have a moment where it's not just you opening your eyes for the world that is in front of you, right? Your own little sphere of it, but to open yourself in that big way that says, you know, the entire world, for even those that I have never met, for those that I never will meet, because this is what Shiva holds, right? It's consciousness for all beings. And in the stories, right, his form that you see that looks kind of decrepit or a little bit scary, or, you know, that he looks like he should be, you know, a superhero, like a supervillain type of character, right? Because he's draped with snakes and cremation ash, and he's, you know, he's off-putting, right? On purpose, he's off-putting. And the reminder of that is for us to be able to get past the places in us that don't want to see anything except what we already like, right? Our own small corner of creation, our own small corner of the world. We don't want to see anything else that is counter to where our comfort already is. So Shiva appears in this way with also the promise that if you look past that, there is this elevated consciousness that then moves through you, because that is ultimately what you are, right? And so I like that this feeds directly into, you know, a period of time where the suggestion is to fast. Right? And what is the purpose of fasting? It's not to take things away from yourself, but it's the same energy of, can I let go of my comfort that I'm so attached to, so that I can see the rest of creation, I can see the rest of the world, you know, as I can see not only the complexity, but also the simplicity of what's here in front of me. So this moment where we're asked to actually open our eyes and to be Shiva for the night, right? To be Shiva for a moment is to open yourself to that bigger consciousness. And that means looking at your life in the way of where you cling to what is comfortable, and also where you can start to see both the complexity and the simplicity of what's right here, right? Have you ever really looked at a flower? Have you ever really contemplated the sun? Have you ever really paid attention to your breath, right? Because it's not in those very complicated things that we find this elevated consciousness. It's in the extremely simple, and it's in the right there in front of you kind of things that we find this elevated consciousness. So whatever direction you're coming at this from, the ability to see where you are clinging to your attachments, where you're clinging to your comfort, internal or external. And even just for a moment, say, can I open my eyes to the simplicity and the complexity, that elevated consciousness? Can I open my eyes, open my heart to that, so that it's not something I aspire to, but that it's something that actually is me right now? Wake up, right? That's the practice, is to wake up, open your eyes beyond the world that is your tiny piece that's right in front of you. Can you look past that? So comfortable seat wherever you are, letting the eyes close for a moment. So Shiva is our own elevated consciousness, the being or the energy that is always fully enlightened, fully at peace, fully aware that there is a kind of painfulness to this existence that is wrapped up in what we call bliss. It's not separate from. So the bigger we open our eyes to what's in front of us, that elevated consciousness has the ability to move through. becomes what we are because it is what we are. So take your attention to the space between the eyebrows. A moment just to keep feeling your breath move through that point. And as that becomes the place where your attention is, let everything else become soft. So all of your attention is holding on to that point. Everything else, let go. Let it fall where it falls. That's an interesting one with your emotions, with your thoughts, right? Let it fall where it falls. Hurts to let go of that. Feels great to let go of this. Let it fall. Something important is going to break. Let it break. There's also Shiva, that energy that says you will be whole and complete when you stop clinging. The more you stop clinging, the more whole and complete you become. And it's just that edge of the pain that we don't want to look past. That keeps us caught. So Shiva is the dissolver. So in any little way, let something drop. You can always pick it up again later. One final breath, breathing into the space of the third eye. And as you exhale, bring the hands together at the heart center, palm to palm. And feel all 10 fingertips pressing against each other. And then we'll open sound of Om, deep breath in. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release the hands, please. Then go ahead and bring yourself forward onto hands and knees. World peace. The yogis say that if you want to experience peace in the world, you have to seek out and experience peace in yourself. To become that energy that does not add or avoid conflict, but that the moment that conflict comes into your spheres, like Shiva, you begin to dissolve it. Cat and cow, please. And I was saying it earlier this week that, it's our mind's tendency that when there's big stuff going on or there's things that we don't like that are going on, is we immediately look for solutions. How can we just make it stop? How can we just fix it? Make it go away? And sometimes that's the outside things. How can it just go back to the way that it was a week ago where I didn't know that people were suffering? I didn't know that there was conflict because it had nothing to do with me. It wasn't in my world. Now suddenly it is, and I want it out again. How do we not close back in? And we try to find those solutions, and there are no solutions. And then we say, oh, well, then if it's just me and my own emotional self, there must be a solution to that. What do I do? What mantra should I use? I get a lot of requests the last week or so. What mantra should I use to work with this feeling? I'm like, well, do you want it to go away? Because there's no mantra that's going to make it go away. Do you want to find what's useful? You want to find what brings you back to equilibrium. You want to see how you can dissolve your attachment to that emotion. Sure, lots of things can help there. Come back to stillness, please. Good. Spread your fingers nice and wide, and then pressing down again through the knuckles of all 10 fingers. So you actually feel yourself rooting down towards the front edge of your hands instead of the heels of the hands. So shift your weight forward just a little bit more, and then press down into the pads of your fingers and feel almost like you're trying to suction up through your palms. So press down through the knuckles, drag back on the pads of the fingers, feel that little suctioning through the palms of the hands. Good. And then start to press your inner elbows just a little bit wider. Good. Feel your armpits lift up and a little bit wider. Lift your chest just a little bit higher. Nice. Now squeeze your forearms towards each other. Good. Now tuck your toes, and from your navel, draw everything in and up. Lift your hips up into downward facing dog. Try to keep that suctioning on your hands. So as you pull the hips back, the angle of the shoulders is going to extend, but keep that feeling of pressing down through the knuckles and then suctioning just a little bit. So there's that little bit of a squeeze through the hands. Good. Lift the back of your throat. Nice job. Beautiful. And then come forward to plank pose, please. Bring your armpits forward over your wrists. Collarbones go up nice and high. Keep suctioning the hands. Don't let your weight roll all the way towards the baby finger edges. Roll slightly inward. Good. Keep your armpits lifted. Yeah. Nice. Drop your knees down to the floor, please. Shift your shoulders forward a tiny bit more, and then bend your elbows, lower your chest to the floor, knees, chest, and chin. Keep your butt up. So your chest comes to the floor between your thumbs. And then lift your chin just enough so that you can let it maybe touch the floor. Keep pressing into your hands. Keep rolling the shoulders up and wide. Good. And now pull all the way forward onto your belly, please. Point the toes back behind you. Rise up, little baby cobra. Keep suctioning your hands. So keep the knuckles rooted down. Good. Press your inner elbows slightly wider. And now squeeze your forearms towards each other. So you're rolling those thumb and first fingers down towards the floor. Good. Release the belly towards the floor or chest towards the floor. Rise up again on your next inhale, up into cobra. Again, keep it a little bit lower. Really push back. Sorry, not push back. Press down through your feet. Good. And then release the chest back down to the floor. Again, press down to the hands. Drag backwards on the hands. Press those inner elbows wide. Lift up head, neck, and chest and roll towards the thumb and first finger. Good. So your weight should not move backwards in cobra, but be pulling forward, extending forward. And then release. Good. One more time. Press down to the hands, drag back, widen your inner elbows and armpits, and then lift up head, neck, and chest. So I want you to feel like those muscles around your side ribs are actually firing here. Good. And then release all the way back down, please. Nice job. Press up to hands and knees. Good. Stretch your right arm out wide to the right. Slide that arm behind your left wrist. Right shoulder finds the floor. Turn your gaze to the left. Walk the left arm forward in front of you. Thread the needle. Press through your shins. Good. Nice, you guys. The energy of dissolving our attachments, our desire to be comfortable above our desire to understand. I honestly think that that's how we create more peace, so that we let go of the desire to be comfortable and pick up that desire to understand. That the minute something does happen that suddenly explodes your world wider and you're like, oh shit, what's been going on that I haven't been noticing? Is don't close it back in again. Don't try to be comfortable. Try to get where you feel steady in that wider space. Vulnerable space. Come back up onto hands and knees. And some of that is we stop looking for solutions to emotions and we start to actually find where they are leading us. Right arm out wide to the right. Or sorry, left arm out wide to the left. Apologies. Good. Slide that hand behind the right wrist. Turn your gaze to the right, should be your second side. Good. And then walk the right arm forward in front of you. Press down through your shins. Good. Feel here just a little bit of trying to drag your hips up and back at an angle. So not down towards your heels, but up and back as though you're in downward facing dog. So you're pulling through the tops of the thighs. There you go. And then press through that left upper arm. So the arm that's on the ground, press down and feel your chest lift just a little higher. So decompress that shoulder. That's it. Nice, you guys. Good. And then walk yourself slowly back up onto hands and knees. Spread the fingers wide again. Find the knuckles of your hands. Again, find that little suctioning action of the hands. So your knuckles are still rooting down, but you've got that little bit of a squeeze. So it's taking the weight out of the heels of the hands, elevating the wrists, right? Tuck your toes, lift your hips, come back into downward facing dog. Nice. Keep that feeling of rooting down through the knuckles, suctioning the hands. Nice, you guys. Right leg comes up and back behind you, down dog split. Keep suctioning the hands. Good. Step the right foot between the hands and lunge. Beautiful. Inhale, both arms up to the sky, high lunge. Good. Stretch your arms out wide to a letter T, and then bring the left arm on top of the right in front of you, wrapping the forearms for eagle. So left arm on top of right. Press the forearms against each other. Good. Don't grip your hands here. So keep your fingers extended up. If it is your tendency to curl them in, keep them up. And really focus on that pressing of the forearms together, but then widen your armpit. So try and pull your chest wide and pull your arm bones backwards up into the shoulders. Good. Nice, you guys. You want to feel that burn go through the upper arms and chest or up into the upper back, but you don't want it to feel like your chest has nowhere to breathe. Good. Unwind the arms. Inhale the arms all the way up alongside the ears. Good. Take hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Lean to your left. Good. Nice. Press your inner right knee wider. Beautiful. Come back up to center, please. Release the hands down to the floor. Good. Step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Parsvottanasana. Use blocks underneath the hands if you'd like. Turning the left hip forward just a little bit more. Scoop into your low belly and then round into your back. So press your hands into something and focus more on rounding your lower spine. So not necessarily up through your shoulders. I want you to focus on rounding through your low belly. Feel your belly lifting up off of your thighs. So you can really turn that left hip forward and feel that wideness of your sacrum. Good. And feeling the wideness of your sacrum might be like, oh, there's actual muscles there that are tight that are now being pulled, stretched. That's how you feel how wide you actually are, right? Good. Nice, you guys. And then go ahead and bend the right knee again, please, over the ankle. Slide that left leg back into a lunge. So back into the lunge position. Inhale the arms back up to the sky. High lunge. Same leg forward. Good. Stretch the arms out wide again. Letter T. Take your left arm on top of your right. Same arm on top. Wrapping the forearms back to eagle arms. Good. Draw the armpits back and wide. Yeah. Press the forearms together, but don't clench in your hands. Nice. Deep breath in. As you exhale, bring your chest forward parallel to the floor. Keep your arms in eagle and then move yourself into warrior three. So step up onto that right foot, stretch your left leg up in line with your hip parallel to the floor. And at the same time, pull up through your ribs. Good. From your shoulder blades, feel that drawing in and up. Nice. And then still in warrior three, extend your arms all the way out wide, letter T, airplane arms. That's it. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor, standing split. Kick that left thigh higher. One more breath. Nice. And then go ahead and step way back to lunge. Good. Plant the hands, come back to downward facing dog. Good. Deep breath in. Where's your weight in your hands? You're like, I don't know. I went back to the old habit already. Come back forward to plank, taking yourself into the knuckles of the hands and that subtle suctioning, right? That drawing together of the strength of your hands. We don't think about that. We think of the hands as being delicate or weak or stuck with whatever the wrists have to do. Engage your hands. Good. Lower knees to the floor, please. Shift your shoulders forward just a tiny bit more. Again, knees, chest, and chin. Drop your heart between your thumbs. Lift your chin. Good. Squeeze your knees and your hands towards each other so you have this feeling of drawing everything in and lifting through your thigh creases. Good. Now pull all the way forward onto your belly, please. Point your toes, rise up into cobra. Keep your attention on your hands. Good. And then exhale, release, please. Press back up to hands and knees. Take a brief child's pose, so knees nice and wide. Hips back to your heels. You can separate the arms wider here so that there's a little bit more space for the shoulders, or you can bend the elbows completely wide and make a pillow with your hands. You can turn your palms to face up. Good. What happens in our minds is we get so into the internal world that we disconnect from what's actually right in front of us. Your hands, that tactile experience of how are you staying connected to the world? Because this is a Shiva teaching too, right? Is that it's easy to say, well, I'll just go meditate. And meditation becomes our way to escape feelings, becomes a way to escape what's happening right in front of us. Don't escape. Absolutely breathe deeper. Absolutely. Use your hands to engage with whatever is in front of you that is elevating, uplifting. Maybe also let the hands float open so that there's that sensation of letting go. Anything. Especially what makes you feel too comfortable. Walk yourself back up onto hands and knees. Come back to downward facing dog. And of course, when I say comfortable, I don't mean make yourself miserable. Don't avoid comfort. But notice how much maybe you cling to it. Good. Engage your hands again. Again, knuckles. Feel that subtle drawing up and in. So it's like your hands are not disconnected from your wrists, that are not disconnected from your forearms, your elbows, your shoulders. So that engaging the hands, you should feel it run all the way up the arm. Left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. Keep engaging your hands. So not all the weight falls into your hands. It's held through the hips, held through the shoulders. Good. Step left foot between the hands for lunge. Inhale the arms up to the sky. First high lunge. Good. And then take your arms out wide to letter T. And then bring the right arm on top of the left in front of you, wrapping the forearms for eagle. And again, pressing the forearms against each other without gripping the fingers. So keep your fingers pointing straight up. Good. So you have that feeling of pressing the forearms against each other, but then draw your armpits back in towards the center of the body. So there's that sensation of lifting and widening your chest at the same time that you are still keeping the arms wrapped. Good. This engagement of the arms that matters in this pose, not how much you can wrap your arms. It's the pressing that makes the difference. Good. Nice, you guys. Unwind, inhale both arms up to the sky. Left hand holds your right wrist, right hand holds your left wrist and lean to your right. So you should be leaning to your right, away from the front knee. Right hand holds left wrist. Good. Nice, Anju. Then come all the way back up to center. Please release the hands down to the floor. Good. Step your right foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Parsvottanasana. You can use blocks underneath the hands if you'd like. And then focus again here on pressing your hands into something so that you can curl up into the lowest part of your spine. Good. So it's not so much the focus of how do I hunch my shoulders and round there. How do you round through the lowest part of your spine down into your pelvis? Curl into that. And then really spin that right hip forward as much as you can. Yeah. And then we could totally talk about the feet here, same way as the hands, is feel all 10 toe mounds, all 10 feet knuckles. Whatever you call those, metatarsals. Good. Of course I know that. Nice, you guys. Really curl in there so that you can feel the weight in your feet. Good. Nice, Lena. Nice, Emily. Good, Sue. All right, here we go. Bend your front knee again. Take the knee back over the ankle. Slide that right leg all the way back into that lunge position. And then inhale the arms back up alongside your ears. So you're coming back to high lunge. Good. Stretch your arms out wide, letter T. Right arm comes on top of left. So the exact same pose sequence you just did. Good. Press the forearms against each other. Draw the armpits back and in. So again, widening the chest. And that pressing of the forearms and the opposite action of the armpits is what's going to create the openness through the shoulders. It's not comfortable. If it is, probably not much is happening. Good. Take your chest forward, please, parallel to the floor. Keep your arms wrapped if you can. Step yourself up into warrior 3. So right leg lifts from your low belly, it lifts. Keep lifting up through the underside of your armpit. So you're widening the upper back. Good. Nice, Crystal. Flex that foot in the air. Good. I can't quite see it properly. Extend your arms out wide, letter T, still in warrior 3, please. Nice. And then release the hands down to the floor. Standing split. Kick your right thigh higher. Good. And then step that foot way back behind you. Lunge. Nice. Plant the hands. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. Deep breath in. Feel your hands. Good. And then drop the knees down to the floor, please. Beautiful. Extend your right leg out wide to the right. Yep. Heel flat. Good. And I always get this wrong, I feel like, but plant the left hand, blah, 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 blah. Right arm up to the sky. Yep, there you go. And then slide that arm behind the left wrist. Right shoulder finds the floor. Like I said, I usually get this wrong, but try it this way. Does that make sense? Yeah. Well, what I often end up doing, and I'll do it this time too, is like, well, if this way doesn't make sense, we'll try it the other way and you'll see if that makes more sense. So it's thread the needle, but with the right leg extended out wide. Welcome on. Good. Nice, you guys. And then bring yourself all the way back up to hand, just to your hand. So keep that right leg extended. Try it the other way. So take your left arm out and wide, and then slide that behind your right wrist as though you're reaching for your ankle. Walk the right arm forward in front of you. Seems like that would be more awkward to me. Feels good. Feels better? No. So funny, right? What's comfortable to you is not what's comfortable to me. The more we widen our world, the more we get upset that our comfort is not just what we get to have. Good. Keep drawing that right thigh crease back, everybody. Good. And then slowly unwind, walk yourself all the way back up. Nice. Take your right knee to the floor underneath your hip. Take the left leg out and wide. Good. Heel should be in line with your knee. So again, make sure that your foot is not far back behind you. Move it forward just a little bit. Good. Then again, we'll do it both ways. So whichever way you like, you'll do, and whichever way you don't like, you'll also do. Take your left arm up to the sky. Good. Slide behind your right wrist. Left shoulder reaches for the floor. Walk your right arm forward in front of you. Good. Nice, you guys. And then find your way back up onto your hands, please. Take the twist the other way, reaching the right arm out and wide. And then slide that arm behind the left wrist. Right shoulder finds the floor. Turn your gaze to the left. And walk the left arm forward. Nice. I like that too, Crystal. Good. And then walk yourself slowly all the way back up. Good. Come back to hands and knees. So knees, both knees underneath the hips. Could circle your hips just a little bit. So do a little rotation to take any of the sort of excessive clenching that sometimes happens in that extended position. The outer hip can really get grippy. So ungrip yourself. Good. And then maybe move your hips the other direction. Nice. Good. And then come back to center, please. Spreading the fingers nice and wide, pressing through knuckles of the hands. Find that subtle suction, right? So that you are drawing energy up through the hands. Sometimes we say like, if you imagine that you're actually the stalk of a flower, you're the roots of a tree, is draw energy up through your wrists, up into your shoulders. Good. And then tuck the toes, please. Lift the hips, come back into downward facing dog, continuing to draw that energy up through the hands. And then feel the crown of your head reaching for the space between your thumbs. So there's this extension, there's this drawing down into that earthy energy through your spine, but there's the drawing up through the extremities back to the core, back to the center. Good. Right leg comes up and back behind you, down dog split. You got it. Good. Bring that knee forward in wide pigeon pose, knee towards your right wrist. The shin cross at whatever angle makes the most sense. Good. Turning again your left hip forward a lot. So as you press down through that back knee, scoop into your low belly, really turn your left hip forward so that your pelvis is in line with itself. Good. Then you can let the groin settle, let the hips settle. Walk yourself forward onto your forearms. Nice. Whatever props you want to use. Good. Nice, you guys. Say Shiva, the energy of Shiva is said to be not only that pure consciousness that is never truly disturbed within us because it has no attachments, right? It has no beginnings, no endings. It just is. You can't really disturb that. And so as we dissolve back into that state, but in the sort of waking everyday existence, we call this equanimity, right? Auspiciousness. One that's able to look at everything as maybe not comfortable for you, but that is continuing to be opportunity on a broader scale than just what you can see. And so when your world gets blown open for whatever reason, don't try to put it all back together so fast. Stay in that open, vulnerable place of, oh, I don't know what's going on. And continue to engage with that feeling of, I just want everyone to get along. I just want there to be peace. I just want things to be different than this feeling right now. Good, you guys. Take one more breath where you are. And then begin to walk yourself back up onto your forearms. And if you can, turn your left forearm parallel to the top of your mat. Take your right arm up to the sky, twist. If you need to come all the way up onto your hand to make that possible, go for it. Good. So pressing into the left forearm or left hand, right arm to the sky, find your twist. And then if you'd like to add the quad stretch, go for it. Bend your back knee, kick your heel, and reach for the foot or the ankle. Good. Nice. Press down through that left knee, drag down and forward, draw your ribs in, open the chest a little wider, throat back. Nice, Allison. Good, Linda. Beautiful, you guys. And then slowly release, extending that arm back up to the sky. Good. Release the hand back down, come up onto both hands, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and then step your right foot right between your hands, come into lunge. You got it. And then drop the back knee. Use a blanket if you'd like. Anjaneyasana, take both arms to the sky. Good. And then bring your hands to your heart center, please. Prayer twist, starting to bring the left elbow towards the outside of the right knee. Press your knee against the elbow against the knee. Again, if a full prayer twist is not happening today, forearm can be on the thigh, right hand to your lower back. Nice, Elliot. Good. Nice, Laura. Excellent, you guys. Open the hands here. So maybe extend just the right arm up to the sky if you can't maintain the hook of the elbow, straightening that left arm, or open both, right? But try to maintain elbow on the outside of the knee. That's it. Good. And then slowly unwind. Nice, Dina and Becca. Unwind everything, arms to the sky, reach up. Yeah. And then release hands down to the floor. Beautiful. Lift your back knee, please. Walk both hands inside your front foot. Walk to your left until you come to the center of your mat. Prasarita Padottanasana. Good. Baby toes parallel the short edge of the mat. Let your head drop. Good. And feel maybe here the subtle squeezing up through the arches of your feet. So again, if you're not engaging through the hands here, engage through your feet, same way. So you feel all 10 toe mounds. You feel all 10 of the metatarsals. You feel the inner and outer edges of your heels. And that subtle suctioning, right? I'm squeezing the ball of my foot towards my heel, but not gripping, right? That's what we're always looking for, is that space that is just a little quieter than grip, engaged, but not gripping. Nice, you guys. Good. Take one more full breath, really letting your spine get longer, dropping the head. That's it. And then start to walk yourself back towards the top of your mat, right toes turn forward, step back, downward facing dog. Good. Again, engage the hands. And then take the left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good, bring that knee forward and wide, pigeon, second side, knee goes out towards the left wrist. Right leg slides back. Before you just drop yourself to the floor, right? Press into your front shin, scoop into your low belly. Start to rotate that right hip forward a little bit more. So again, you're bringing your pelvic bones in line with each other. Good. And then once you've done that, then you can start to let everything drop down. Don't drop your shoulders first. Let your pelvis settle first. And when you settle, don't let that right hip push back further than the left, right? Everything goes straight down together. I'm watching you. And then come forward onto your forearms or use your props, however you'd like. Good. Shivaratri, the moment, usually I make the joke every year of saying that the tradition, right, is that you stay up all night. Stay up all night and celebrate. Stay up all night and keep the energy of the world going. And so you can stay up all night and keep the energy of your misery going, or you can stay up all night and you can watch the night sky in a way that you never have because you're usually asleep. You can become aware of your internal self past that edge of what is usually your comfort. My bedtime was 8 o'clock. What am I doing up? And it brings us to me at least, it brings us to an interesting place of wondering how we decide celebration should happen, needs to happen. In the same way we decide how solutions should happen, the way that it is comfortable to me. It's how it should happen. So opening our eyes is sometimes getting past, or it is always getting past that moment where we want things to be the way we want it to be. And instead we see what's right in front of us. And then we can say, here's what I can do with what's right in front of me. Not, I want it to be this way so that I can do what I want to do so that I continue to be comfortable. And this is how the Buddhists say we break down those walls in the mind that think that the world is created in a specific way. Say, no, the world that your mind is convinced is real has never been real. Your mind created it. Start to wake up to what's right in front of you. See the simplicity. And know that that simplicity is embedded in something that is so complex that your mind can't hold it. So don't try. Take one more breath. And then start to walk yourself back up onto your forearms. And again, you can always come all the way back up onto the hands for this twist. So turning the right forearm parallel to the top of your mat, take your left arm to the sky. And again, if being up on your hand makes more sense, be up on your right hand instead. And then optional is to add the quad stretch. Bend your back knee, reach back for the foot or the ankle if you'd like. And then make sure that you are really drawing down and forward through that knee. So again, you're drawing the extremities up into the core of the body. Good. Drawing your ribs in, then stacking the chest open. Nice, Emily. Good. Throat back. Nice, Laura. Good, Sue. Nice, Lindsay. Good, Lena. Nice, Allison. And then slowly release, please, letting the foot come back to the floor, letting the arm reach up to the sky. Good. And then release back onto both hands. Walk yourself up. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and then step that left foot right between your hands. Good. Make those hip flexors work a little. Drop the back knee down to the floor. Use a blanket if you'd like for cushioning. Inhale both arms up to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Good. And then bring the hands together at the heart center. Prayer twist. Right elbow comes to the outside of your left knee. Good. Pressing the elbow and the knee against each other. Again, drawing the rib cage back so that you're rotating really from that deep part of your waist. Good. And then open the hands here any amount. So you can keep the elbow hooked and bent. Stretch the left arm up to the sky. That's great. If you can, stretch the right arm to straight as well, but keep that elbow hooked on the outside of the knee. Good. Nice, you guys. Keep lifting your left shoulder higher. That is the point of the twist, not to get lower, but to reach, extend through the spine longer, which means that left shoulder's got to lift. Good. Unwind everything, both arms to the sky. Don't give up. Ay, ay, ay. I know. Don't give up. That's the solution to a lot of things. Don't give up. Release the hands down to the floor. You got it. Lift your back knee, please. Walk both hands inside the front foot. Come to the right till you come to the center of your mat. Prasarita Padottanasana. And that is a huge part of practice in general. Don't give up. You want to see peace in this world? Don't give up. Don't give up because today's painful. Don't give up because you don't have a clear solution. Don't give up because there's suffering. Instead, engage your hands, engage your feet, engage your heart, engage with the world that's right in front of you, not just the one that's inside that we want to stay safe and secure. Engage with the world outside that says, yeah, I need you to be vulnerable. I need you to get out of your comfort. And you don't have to seek out discomfort. That's the thing. You can just see what's in front of me that is asking to be done. And can I do that? And it's in your corner of the world. Again, don't try to take on the big that's out there that's so far away. Just do it with what's in front of you. It will impact the big world. It does. Take one more breath, dropping the head. Drop something inside. I long to be one of those people that will, for therapeutic reasons or cathartic reasons, go throw dishes and break things. Can't make myself do it. But it's nice to let yourself internally say, I'm going to let the pressure go of trying to hold on. Walk yourself back towards the top of your mat. Turn your left toes forward. Downward facing dog. Good. Slide forward to plank pose, please. Lower down slow, coming through knees if you'd like, or all the way straight down to your belly this time. Good. Rise up cobra. Lift up head, neck, and chest, pointing the toes back behind you. Hug your shins, not your butt. Good. And then release, please, back to your belly. Flip over onto your back. It absolutely is a trap, so don't. Don't get excited. It's a trap. On your backs, please bend your knees, plant your feet for a moment. Constructive rest, which means that your heels are only as wide as your hips and your knees are on top of your heels. So any other position that you're like, no, it's more comfortable for me to do it like this. This is not about being comfortable. This is about creating an angle for your pelvis. Constructive rest is not tuning out. Try not to let the knees splay wide. Try not to let your feet fall open. Good. Becca, bring your feet a little closer towards each other. Yep. Your hips are not as wide as you think. Good. Or we're trying to angle the thigh bones into the center of the hip. I should put it that way. Instead of feet to the outer hip, we want it straight in the middle. Feel your lower back. Progressively, can you keep dropping the weight into your back body? Feel the thigh bones beginning to sort of melt down into the pelvis. Like your tailbone is just going to find its way rooting down to the floor without arching your back. And again, maybe this position does feel comfortable, like rest. When it's given as a true therapeutic thing, it's said to hold it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's not so fun by the time you get there. So we mistake sometimes comfort for peace. We mistake familiarity for equilibrium. We mistake tuning out for meditation. Shivaratri is a moment to wake up to what consciousness really means, what it really exists as in you. And how closed in do you keep it with the world of your mind? And then even if you do not practice the traditions of Lent or fasting or any of that, can you look at the ways that you cling to comfort? Only because the more we cling to comfort, the more we push out anyone and anything that doesn't fit that. And healthy boundaries absolutely necessary. Closing ourselves off in the name of boundaries. Painful. If you want to see peace in the world, look at the way that you cling and the way you push away. With no judgment that you do both of those things. I do too. Bless you. Elevated consciousness, consciousness that is not wrapped up in comfort. It's able to see what's right in front of it. And so in our mind, we think that it must be so complicated, but usually what happens is when we're just looking at it without our attachments, it becomes simple. Simplicity, complexity. One more breath here, dropping into your sacrum, your tailbone. Good. And then start to draw your knees in towards your chest, please. Come into happy baby. So take your knees nice and wide. Reach for your ankles or inner or outer edges of your feet. Good. So the knees are bent, heels stacked on top of the knees. So again, trying to maintain this awareness of how you line up your joints. So try not to let your feet go too wide. Try not to turn your feet out excessively. Good. And then try to, as you're holding, you have that anchor of your hands at your feet. Try to find your tailbone bringing itself back down to the floor. You're like, but then my knees can't stay right where they are. I know. Bring your tailbone down to the floor. You might have to change the position of your hands. I don't mind. Take your tailbone down to the floor. That's the great thing. If I don't mind, why would you mind? Tailbone down to the floor. Good. Knees slightly wider, shins hug in. Tailbone down to the floor. Good. And now hold your legs here. Release the hands. Just hold your legs with their own power. Take the arms straight between the legs. Interlace the fingers. Pointer fingers press out. Good. Deep breath in. As you exhale, curl your shoulders up off the floor. Reach forward and up between the legs. Keep your tailbone rooting down to the floor. Good. And then release the shoulders back down. Don't change the legs. Deep breath in. Exhale. Again, curl up. Reach forward between the legs. Keep those knees where they are. Good. Release the shoulders back down. Deep breath in. Exhale, curl up again, reaching through the legs, extend. Good. Release back down. Deep breath in. Exhale, curl up again, reach forward. Good. Release back down. You got one more. Deep breath in. And then exhale, reach forward and up. Engage the abdominals, root down through your tailbone. Good. And then slowly release the shoulders. Please hug the knees in towards your chest. Nice job. And then plant the feet back to the floor as wide as your hips. Set your arms alongside you, either into robot arms or arms straight for bridge pose. So your choice. Good. But pressing down through the arms. So again, engage. If your arms are straight and your palms are facing the floor, press down. Again, engage the hands. If your elbows are bent, press down through the upper arms. Engage as though you are still engaging your hands. Feel that subtle pressing wide through your armpits. Feel the rolling back of your tops of your arm bones. Feel your collarbones lift up. Press the back of your head gently into the floor. So there's almost that feeling of, again, engaging the neck, but not clenching. And then press into your feet and go straight up with your hips. Don't lean back into your shoulders. Lift your hips straight up. Knees stay in line with your ankles. Good. Feel your collarbones lift and widen. Don't let your knees fall back towards your head. Pull your knees towards the tips of your toes. Beautiful. Keep your arms rooting down. Extend right leg up to the sky. Good. Don't let your left knee fall open. Press up through that right heel. The leg's not up there for decoration. Press. Good. Release that foot back down to the floor, please. Plant it with purpose. Left leg comes up to the sky. Again, engage that right foot. Feel the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot. Extend up. Hips go higher. Nice, Allison. Nice, Lena. Good, Lindsay. Nice, Judy. Release that foot to the floor. Deep breath. Release the hips slowly down to the floor. Nice job. Let your arms go out and wide. Letter T. Press your palms straight down. Good. Bring your knees up to 90 degrees. So knees in line with your hips, shins at 90 degrees. Good. Scoot your hips over to the left, please. Start to drop your knees to the right into a spinal twist. Don't use your hands. Good. Keep your knees in line with your hips as much as you can. So don't let them angle down, angle them up. Good. Keep reaching through that left side rib cage. It's okay if the shoulder is coming up, but continue to stay engaged through that hand. Good. And then using the abdominals and the legs, start to bring yourself back up to center. So bring your knees back up to where you began. And then start to scoot your hips over to the right, drop your knees to the left, try not to use your hands. I know that adjustment might be a little tricky, so you can always put your feet down if you need to. But for the twisting, try to engage through the core instead, dropping the knees to the left, extending out through the right arm. Folding in through your ribs. Nice. So we want our practice to feel as though it creates space inside. We want it to feel like it makes us more comfortable. I find the longer I practice, though, that when I feel like I've gotten very comfortable at the end of a practice, I'm like, oh, I didn't try very hard today, did I? I didn't look very deep today, did I? So not to say that you have to seek discomfort, but that there is a difference between openness and comfort. And if you have that choice, knowingly you have that choice, choose openness, whatever that entails. Come back up to center, because this is how we move ourselves individually, collectively towards real peace, is we continuously choose openness over comfort. Good. Bring the knees all the way in towards the chest, please. Hug with your hands, squeeze in. Bring your forehead up towards your knees, so curl into a little ball. Beautiful. And then start to roll forward and back on your spine. If you like your hands in front of your shins here, you can keep them there or hold behind the thighs instead. Or roll forward and back until you can bring yourself up to balance in boat pose. So come up onto the sit bones. Good. Still holding the legs in some manner. Lift your chest a little higher. Beautiful. Hollow, hollow, hollow. Good. Draw those arm bones up and into the shoulder socket so your chest goes higher. Beautiful. Nice, Dina. Throat up and wide. Beautiful. And then hug the knees all the way back in. I know you're facing the back of your mat. Place your feet down to the floor. Let your knees go wide. Badakanasana, facing the back of your mat or whatever direction you're facing. Some of you are at the front of your mat. Walk yourself forward, please. Badakanasana. Good. Over the weekend, I was telling a lot of stories or bits and pieces of the Ramayana as a way of reorienting your mind to the fact that the world is always, has always been, and may always be on the brink of disaster to varying degrees. Depends on where you are, who you are, right? How do we live in a world like that? And one of the pieces of the Ramayana that we do often point out, but that I think is so necessary, is that Ram, when speaking about the one who basically single-handedly destroyed his life, and his brothers are so willing to, they want revenge. It's all her fault. The world is this way. And he says, no, just don't hate her. Don't hate her, and certainly don't carry out any acts of violence in my name because you think I've been hurt. He said, no, don't do that. I don't want that. In fact, have great compassion for her because she is suffering more than any other. And openness over comfort. So can you stay open to the movement of the world in all the ways that you can see and all the ways that you cannot see, and keep doing your part? Slowly walk yourself all the way back up. Good. Go ahead and flip yourself over onto hands and knees facing the top of your mat if that's not where you are. Yep. Nice. And then come into downward facing dog, please. Good. Step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Nice, Linda. Good. And then separate your feet nice and wide. Good, as wide as your mat. Turn your toes forward though. Don't turn the toes out, toes forward. And then bend your knees, take your butt back. So your knees are in line with your ankles, thighs parallel to the floor. Start to walk your hands back behind your heels. So between the legs, hands go back behind your heels. Drop your hips low, thighs parallel the floor. Gotta get low, even lower. There you go. Good. Lift your chest a little higher. So again, you're engaging into your feet here, engaging into your hands. Good. And then for some of you, if you can comfortably take your hands flat with your fingers pointing towards your toes, not backwards. If you can comfortably do that, bend the elbows slightly, let the thighs drop onto the upper arms, lift your chest. Don't let your butt go any lower. Start to wiggle your feet towards each other. Good. Taking the weight into the arms and chest like you're doing crow. Hook the feet together, lift them up off of the floor. Good. So you got to squeeze your legs around your arms. You got to lift from your core to lift your butt. Yeah. Nice, Emily. Good. Good, Becca. Good, Laura. You got it. Crystal, you look perfect. And then slowly release the feet back down to the floor. Unwind yourself. Good try, whatever you did. Unwind your arms. Good. Feet still as wide as your mat. Right hand to left ankle, please. Take your left arm up to the sky twist. Good. Widen your right inner thigh, please. You got it. Yeah, so just a wider legged twist, Dina and Becca. Release the hands back down. So we're going to the second side, left hand to right ankle, right arm to the sky. There you go. Yes, you can take a breath in both sides if you missed the first one. Good. Draw your throat back and long, everybody. That's it. Good. And then release that hand back down to the floor, please. Good. Take the hand straight in front of you. Come up on the balls of your feet, and then start to bend your knees. So opportunity here for a full crow pose. So let the palms come flat to the floor. Yep. As wide as your shoulders. So Linda, take your hands wider. Engage your hands. And as you bend your knees and lift your heels up into that little squatting pose, halfway to squat, bend your elbows so that your upper arms go back to meet your knees. Good. And then curl in through your low belly. Send your sacrum up towards the sky. Lift your chest. So you got to drop your hips slightly here. Good. And then go ahead and play with taking that one knee or both a little higher up, lifting a foot. Keep your chest up. Good. Take your shoulders slightly forward so your elbows are on top of your wrists. Nice. Beautiful, you guys. If you're super happy in crow, go ahead as you come out of it, shoot your legs back behind you straight into chaturanga. You're like, what? All right. Bring your feet back to the floor, please. Good. Take a moment, come down onto your butt. Good. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Let your knees go wide. Can't believe you didn't want to go for that. Stretch your arms out. Right arm comes over top of left. Just wrap the left arm under. So it's like a half eagle arm. So it's just a stretch for the shoulder. Yeah. Just a stretch. Good. And then stretch the arm all the way back out and wide again. Take the left arm across your chest. Just wrap the right arm underneath. Again, just hugging in. Beautiful. And then slowly unwind. Good. So my plan for you today was, whether you like it or not, was to move you in the direction of a twisted crow pose. So that's what I would like to give you the opportunity to try. If that makes no sense to you at all, the option here is to work instead in your prayer twisting chair. because that's a great preparation for this pose and you're just leaving out the arm balance. You could also alternatively come back to crow center if that's also what you're working with. So you can do straight crow, you can come into prayer twisting chair on either side, or you can go for the wild one, which is starting in that low prayer twisting chair to come into a twisting crow. So if you want me to walk you through that, I will. Is anyone going for twisting crow? Wave a hand at me. Otherwise, I'll just let you do whatever you're going to do. Emily's going to go for it. Okay, awesome. So make your choice, right? You're either coming into prayer twisting chair, crow straight ahead, or you can go through this with me as I'm talking it through Emily, but do something. I'm watching you. So make your choice. You can come up to stand wherever you're going. So if you're working towards revolved crow, is you're going to start, bring your feet all the way together, knees all the way together, and then come up on the balls of your feet, let your hands rest on something, bend your knees so you drop your heels toward, or your butt towards your heels. So it's in a deep squatting chair pose, knees together. Good. And you're going to take both hands up and out to the outer edge of your left foot. So it's like you did a prayer twist, and then you drop your hands to the floor. That's it. You got to have your hands wide enough like you would for crow. Now you're keeping your knees together here. You got to bend your elbows a little bit, start to lift your butt up and see if you can bring your knees to the shelf of that right upper arm. For some of you, your hip might also rest on the left upper arm. Won't work for everyone. Scoop into your low belly, press into those hands, squeeze everything in and up and see if those feet can leave the floor. You got to bring your chest forward enough towards your fingertips that you can find that balance point. Good. Nice, you guys. And if you're just working in prayer twisting chair, that's awesome. You got it, Emily. It's great. Yeah, that's it, Laura. Nice, Becca. Good, 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 Sue. Keep your chest up, right there. Good. Make sure you come back to center, please. Try both sides. So if you try twisting crow on one side, that was nice, Becca. You got it. Try the other side. So you bring your hands all the way to the outside of the left foot. Again, you want to keep knees and legs together. So there's a lot of that squeezing, curling in. Bend the elbows, lean your chest towards your fingertips. The shoulders have to move in that direction, and then pull those armpits up and in, engage your hands. And squeeze those knees up and in, lifting your hips just a little higher. Yeah, one side will be easier than the other. Don't be surprised. Nice, Emily. Good. Love it, love it, love it. Really good, you guys. And then when you've had enough, come on down to sit, unwind yourself. Really nice, you guys. Not an easy pose. I know. Good. Find your way to sit, please. Stretch your legs out nice and wide. Well, you can't just spring revolved crow on people. Unless it's a class that you know that it's full of people who do poses like that regularly, then you can be like, yeah, go for a revolved crow. Otherwise, that's not fair. Don't do that to anybody in the middle of a class. Be like, yeah, revolved crow, no preparation. Don't do that. Legs out nice and wide, please. Turn your belly towards your right thigh, hands framing that leg. So sit up nice and tall. Good. Root down through your left sit bone and then start to walk yourself forward over the right leg. Good. Continue to frame that leg. So you're turning your ribs. Yeah. So yes, for complicated arm balances and stuff like that, you kind of have to create a lot of body awareness, because again, if you don't do the pose a lot, then even if I said to you in the beginning, this is what we're doing, you'd be like, I have no idea. No idea. Maybe you're still saying that. You have to at least work the twisting action, because otherwise you can't even get yourself into a twist where your legs have anywhere to go. Good, you guys, take one more breath. Then walk yourself all the way back up, please. Good, turn yourself towards the other leg. So hands framing the left leg, turning your belly. And walk your hands straight forward, again, rooting down through the right sit bone. So the opposite leg, the opposite butt cheek has to push down as you walk yourself forward. It's also true that if nobody ever offers you the opportunity to do revolved crow, so my guess is you will never do it. You're not going to seek it out on your own. So every once in a while, just the suggestion of like, all right. So thank you, Emily, for volunteering to do it, because once you did, other people joined in. For a moment, I was going to be like, okay, nobody wants to do this. Choose openness over comfort. Be willing to fall on your face if that's where the work takes you. Try not to fall on your face, but be willing. Good. And slowly walk yourself all the way back up, please. Nice. Keep the left leg extended. Bend your right knee so you take your heel in towards your groin. Good. And just walk the left hand towards your left heel, please. Turning your ribs, stretching the right arm over the ear. Come into that side stretch. The left hand reaches for left heel. Right arm extends over the ear or hand at your hip. You got it. Good. Allison, just try and point that left knee more up towards the ceiling. No, not straighten it, just rotate it slightly. There you go. I like it bent, actually. Yeah, that's good. Good. Come all the way back up, please. Nice job. Switch the legs. Take your right leg out straight. Bend the left knee. Bring it in towards the groin. Then begin to walk the right hand towards the right heel. Turning your ribs open. Stretch the left arm over the ear. Or again, if reaching over the ear does not work for the shoulder, take the hand behind your head or to your hip. Good. Watch that you're not pushing your ribs forward. And draw your throat back. Throat back, Dina. Throat back, head back. Good. And then come all the way back up. Nice, you guys. So release the legs, find your way onto your back. If you're in the room with me, turn your heads towards the center of the room. Problem is I get too excited about a pose, and then I'm like, oh, class is over. Come on down to your backs, please. Good. Bend your knees, plant your feet as wide as your mat. Let your knees drop from side to side, to the right and then to the left. The next time your knees go to the right, let them stay there for a breath. If you would like to stack your right ankle on your left thigh, go for it. Arms can be wide, and cactus arms or arms overhead, wherever you want them to be. And then bring yourself back to center, planting both feet, dropping your knees to the left. Again, left ankle can come on top of right thigh if you choose. Then come back to center, please. Squeeze the knees in. Give yourself one last hug. Good. And then extend the legs all the way out on the floor. Flex the feet. Stretch the arms up alongside your ears. Take a full body stretch. Extend, extend, extend. Good. And then keep the legs extended. Bring the feet together, the legs all the way together. Point your toes. Stretch your hands reaching towards your feet. I'm going to do it. Lift your feet up off the floor just a couple of inches. Lift head, neck, and chest. Reach towards your feet. So a low, low, low boat pose. Stretch pose, they call this in Kundalini. Low, low, low boat. Good. Nice. Extend through the top of your head. Get longer. Yes. And then release. Nice job. Shavasana. Moment to release our attachments to everything that is outside, but also your opportunity to release your attachments to everything that is on your inside. The world as your mind knows it, the confines of it. To release the idea that that is real and true and unchangeable. And in those moments of letting go, it said that you're fully conscious. Elevated consciousness is simply there. Because it's who and what you are. Very gently bring the awareness back to the breath, point in which the inside and the outside world merge as one. Let your body begin to stretch and move any ways that serve it well. As you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest. Roll to your right side. Take a moment before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center, again, palm to palm, feeling all 10 pads of the fingers. Just for a moment, breathe through yourself, loving kindness, an unconditional feeling of well-being, an unconditional feeling of friendliness to all things, without obstruction, without judgment, without even thought. Just feel yourself become the flow of that. And within that, we'll hold all beings that are suffering in ways that you can see and in ways that you can't see, in all the ways that you think really matter to you and all the ways that you think don't matter to you. So our solution is this, is that if you can continue to flow this unconditional feeling of well-being, equanimity for all beings, regardless of comfort to you personally, and stay in that state of openness that says, I will not disallow this loving kindness from anyone or anything. What brings us back to peace, not necessarily comfort, not necessarily the way that we want, but this is what brings us back. A loving kindness for all things, all beings. That the balance of the world restores itself, even if it is not the balance that I would want or hope for. Just keep choosing every day to be open. And watch where you cling. And don't judge any of it. Loving kindness, you included. And just keep doing that until the world is at peace. Deep breath in for the sound of Om. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful rest of your night. Great rest of your week until I see you again. Practice your revolved crow.
Sugar candies for you.
Sugar candies are here.
Thank you. Thanks for